A national program is recruiting Canadian Armed Forces veterans for the tech sector. It's called Coding for Veterans, and the idea is to retrain veterans for well-paying software or cybersecurity jobs to fill some labor shortages in that market. Jeff Musson is Executive Director of Coding for Veterans. He's doing some recruiting today in Halifax. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Preston.
Tell me more about the program. What makes coding and ex-military personnel such a perfect fit?
Yeah, so when you look at the soft skills that some of the best employees and those in the tech sector have, so things like leadership, teamwork, attention to detail, it really aligns with the skill set of individuals that are in our military. And what's interesting is in Canada, there's a shortage of 147,000 IT jobs that are waiting to get filled. And these are jobs that survived the pandemic. So, what better way to start backfilling that than providing these opportunities for the men and women that served in our military?
That's right. And the pandemic, COVID, has actually made this an easier sector to get into as well, because so many of these jobs are virtual that are opening up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the interesting thing, is that the program's delivered 100% online through the University of Ottawa, and there's really two streams to it. You have software development and cybersecurity. And, pre-COVID, if an individual wanted to get a job in the tech sector, it really meant, locating, to larger urban areas and what have you. But now what's happened is, COVID's actually, I've said, has pulled the workforce about 15 years into the future. And so now jobs, it can really be anywhere and be working in the tech sector.
What kind of jobs do veterans normally go after when their service ends?
Yeah, so from what our research shows and in talking with veterans, they typically will go into police services, they will go into security guard careers. What we're saying is, let's look at it from a different perspective and focus on those soft skills. And what's great about it is that, we like to say, with Coding for Veterans, a lot of people in our program, it's like going from the battlefield, protecting Canada on the battlefield, to doing it in cyberspace. And so there's a lot of synergies between their career that they had in CAF and the future career in the tech sector.
And tell me about the time commitments in this program for vets getting trained.
Yeah. So that's the best part about this, is that with this program, it's really what's called micro-credentialed, and it's really a new concept in the education space. And so it's a university-delivered program, but if someone wants to complete it, going full-time online, they can get it done in 6 to 8 months, as opposed to a typical 3-year degree. And when we put this program together, we talked to employers, and they helped build the curriculum to ensure that there were jobs. Now, what was interesting is the payment of this is virtually free. Well, not virtually, it is free for veterans that have served over 6 years in the military, because they're able to access up to $80,000 in funding to support the tuition through Veterans Affairs Canada.
Why are retraining programs like this so important?
Well, as you can tell, technology is creating a larger and larger part of our economy. And, with these retraining programs, we're not graduating enough individuals to fill them. In addition to, immigration levels are not able to help backfill these jobs. So really the only answer is retraining programs. And this provides a great opportunity for the men and women who've served in our military to provide stable long-term employment for, themselves and their family.
That's right. You mentioned their family as well. You've opened this up to military spouses. How is that going?
It's great. And what was interesting was when we first launched this program, obviously it was focused on veterans, but we had a number of spouses apply to the program. So we went back to our corporate partners, and because obviously spouses don't qualify for the Veterans Affairs funding, we were able to raise a special fund through our corporate partners to offset that tuition funding.
And have you seen much interest, Jeff, from Afghan interpreters? And What have you heard from them so far?
Yeah, so what was interesting is we have a lot of, obviously, Afghan veterans in our program, and we were very closely following the events over in Afghanistan. And consequently, we said, we need to support these individuals because they supported our Canadian troops. So we then went back to our corporate partners, and we were able to raise some funding to allow for Afghan veterans or Afghan interpreters who successfully immigrate to Canada to enroll in our program as well. And we've actually had a couple of individuals that are going through the enrollment process currently.
And what does your recruitment exercise look like? You're in Halifax. Tell me where you are and what it looks like there.
Yeah, so we're at CFB Halifax, and we're at the D&D Transition Center on Hawk Terrace from 10 till 4 today. And really, in essence, we're doing a road show from a caravan for a recruitment tour from now up until Remembrance Day, where we will end it in Ottawa, and we're going cross-country. Prior to COVID, we would do recruitment in job fairs on military bases. Obviously, that's no longer feasible. So what we've done is we partnered with different organizations and places across Canada where we set up an information kiosk outdoors, socially distant, in order to get word out about the program. And, it's been very successful so far.
How many people have you recruited?
Last week alone, we ended up having 32 people apply to the program, and in a typical week we would probably have 5 or 6. So it's been very successful, and it's fun. It's almost like going old school, taking it back on the road, and it's been great to get out in various communities. Last week we were in Quebec. This week we're throughout Atlantic Canada and kicking it off today in Halifax.
All right. Well, good luck, Jeff. Thanks for telling us about this.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Jeff Musson is Executive Director of Coding for Veterans, and as he said, if you are interested in the program, you can find Jeff at the DND Transition Center in Halifax this morning from 10 a.m., and that goes until 4 p.m., and then he's headed to Greenwood tomorrow.